guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at the SEMA Auto Show 2022. Of course, we're gonna spend oodles and oodles of time at the Dodge booth because it is that last call, that last stand for internal combustion engine muscle car power, and they're doing something very special. They're bringing some special limited edition, basically sneaker drop cars. And guess what? I got one of the baddest ones here. This is it. This is your 2023 Dodge Challenger. This one is called the Black Ghost. But before we get into this pitch black, supercharged muscle-powered machine, let's talk about what's going on here. The Challenger. It's been around since 1970, that nameplate, and you know what? It's been bringing lots of performance, especially with muscle car era version 2.0. Now, with the ending of the Hemi supercharged V8, Dodge wanted to go all in and create these special cars. Now, what's interesting is until this show, the only way you could see it was on the computer in some computer-generated image. Well, guess what? Being the Raiti's Rides fans that you are, you deserve to see it in the full flesh with all of the supercharged goodness. But let me tell you about the Black Ghost. So the Black Ghost was about this Challenger that roamed the streets of Detroit in 1970, the first year of the Challenger, and it was the baddest mamma jamma of all of them. You didn't want to line up next to the Black Ghost because guess what? He would blow your doors off and then poof, disappear into thin air. So what they decided to do is kind of recreate that excitement and that energy with this sneaker drop car. So let's go ahead, let's dive into the special edition Challenger and find out, is it that perfect supercharged muscle car you should be buying, especially over something like a Shelby GT500. Let's go ahead and find out. Right off the bat, the color. Of course, being the Black Ghost, pitch black. Dodge has the best names when it comes to their different colors. You're going all in with this car, and it is a limited edition. So you're getting the wide body effect right off the bat. That's the additional 3 inches. Love the way that the pitch black just blends everything in together. As you come across the front end, it's all blacked out. And I really like that look to fit with the theme. Now there are some special touches because this is touching back on that original Challenger. You do get your SRT badge because remember, this is street and racing technology built machine. You can see the massive heat exchangers behind. We got the classic Challenger script. And then down below, we still have, of course, that splitter that you could eat your lunch off of that really just gives it that pure aggression right off the starting line. Now, one of the touches that I really, really like is, look, as we rise up, you're getting the classic Dodge name right on the front fascia, just like it was back in 1970. You're also getting these special gloss black hood pins. Very, very important, of course, when you're building power, you're building speed, you don't want a hood to just pop up by itself. That would be a big problem to have. Really kind of finishes off the muscle car look, but it does have a purpose as well. Speaking of purpose, you got the double bulge hood, twin air inlets that are gonna force feed that 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi 807 horsepower. Think about it. When it first came out, the Hellcat first came out in 2015, it only had, well, only 707 horsepower, but now you have 807 horsepower, full under warranty, and then of course, a special edition to boot, very limited, 1 to 300. Now, as we come around the bend, of course, we're gonna not only have the special paint, but you're also gonna get these amazing Sidewinder wheels, 305s, all 4 corners. I love the way they went satin black on the 6-piston Brembos, SRT badging, and then those rotors that are about 15.4 inches in diameter, slotted 2-piece rotors, but really the wheels make the car. A lot of people don't give justice to wheels. Wheels can make or break the look, the style, the color. 20-inch 305s, all 4 corners, so they got you covered there. And then of course that flared fender. Now coming down the side, the Challenger script. So normally you would have your Hellcat badge, but remember back in 1970, there was no Hellcat that was produced by Dodge. So you have the Challenger script looking really classy. Another thing that was very popular, especially when it came to Challengers, Chargers, Cudas, A lot of vehicles in that late 60s, early 70s was a vinyl top roof. Today, obviously not as popular, but what they did was instead of going a vinyl top roof like the original Black Ghost, they went with this really amazing graphic to give it that look. So I love the way they implemented and integrated this into this special edition car. And then of course, being a special edition, that limited edition, it's not just about the outside, not just about underneath the hood, it's also about the interior. So when you get one of these, you are gonna have special touches, that premium interior, the Alcantara wrapped steering wheel, the stitching, really nicely done. I guess the one thing I'm missing is I wish there was a Black Ghost badge embroidered on the headrest. So that is a zonk, but you have the carbon fiber center console pieces, those nice leather seats, very plush. There is a Black Ghost badge when you start up the vehicle on the dash, but that's only when you fire her up. Other than that, everything else is gonna be your traditional Challenger Hellcat affair, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Now, working your way back, with that classic look, we got a nice, bright, shiny chrome fuel filler door. This really is just something so simple, but yet it gives it that old school feel right from the factory. We got the tail, obviously those 20-inch wheels out back, 305s, all four corners, and then one of my favorite parts is the tail stripe. This really is just that extra add-on from one end to the other. Really gives it that wonderful look. Trunk lid spoiler with the I think it's so great the way they were so cohesive and changed out all the badges. All the badges have been upgraded and updated to kind of show that classic look. And then dropping it down, I guess the one thing I wish they would have done, I'm about to cry. No, not really, but give me a quad tip exhaust. They didn't have these vacuum style exhausts like this back in 1970. Would have been nice to give me more of a retro style exhaust. So that is gonna be a zonk, but definitely this Black Ghost, especially we're gonna kind of swing it around and come to the passenger side, is doing the business with the style. I mean, driving this, looking at it, is just stunning. Of course, coming on in, you'll notice you have your badging here, the Black Ghost badge, right for the passenger to see on that side. And then, like I was saying, they're only making 300 of these. So each sneaker drop car has a different amount, 300 of them. But wouldn't you agree, some Black Ghost embroidery would have went a long way? So that's where I'm gonna zonk that part. But the seats still have the great style, still have that great comfort. And then that tradition, that muscle car tradition. And this is what is interesting, is where do we go from here? Dodge is doing electrification. They wanted to do these last call vehicles to really kind of showcase and remember the past before we just jump into the future. But that's the thing, is back in 1970, there was some major horsepower roaming the roads and the streets and the strip right from the factory, just like Dodge did in 2015 when they brought out the Hellcat, 707 horsepower, then they bumped it up to 797 horsepower. Obviously the Demon is one that everybody's gonna remember, 2018. They made 3,300 of those, and that is still going up in value. That had 840 horsepower. And then of course, something like the Black Ghost, 807 horsepower. I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more change, like I said, to the exhaust, but the way that they did all of the fine touches, especially with the lighting and the badging, really sets this car apart from the rest. And of course, we can't open up the hood on this one. They told us not to, but what I can show you is, of course, this is what you got right here. So underneath the hood, here it is in all of its glory. This is that 6.2 liter Hemi supercharged V8. This one out of the Black Ghost is producing 807 horsepower. You can see the supercharger pulley, the belt coming around the side. Look at the exhaust. You know, in the past they would call these exhaust manifolds, but you know what? The way they work them from the factory, they are like full-on race headers. Of course, you got your ignition modules with your spark plugs that are gonna drop down, your fuel rails, and then coming around the other side, you can see the same thing with your valve covers. Remember, this is push rod technology. There's your fuel rails, there's your fuel injectors. So you got 4 on each side, obviously being a V8, and then coming around the back side, This is where you're gonna find, of course, your flywheel. So the transmission bolts up to the back of the engine here. There's the back of the supercharger. Love all of the beautiful casting. This is really cool when they have displays like this at these shows to really just, there's no way I could show this to you when it's underneath the hood, but now that it's sitting here, that's what really makes it special. But thinking about that underneath the hood, those 8 pistons firing off, going nuts, the sound, the shaking, the experience, that's what it's all about. But let me know what you think. Is this the perfect muscle car for you? Put your response in that comment section, but if you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. We got to give it up to Muscle Car Lori, working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.